my name is Dr. Ruthie. I'm a professional sexuality educator and I blog over at exploringintimacy.com. I'm also the author of The Nice Girl's Guide to Talking Dirty. But today I'm here answering your very important questions about sex and relationships thanks to funwares.com. If you want to send me a question, do so at my email there, AskDrRuthie at funwares.com. Spelling is right at the bottom. You can also tweet me at DrRuthie, D-R-R-U-T-H-I-E. I have a question here by email. It's a fantastic one, and here we go. I'll change a few of the details just to preserve their anonymity. Dear Ruth, I will accept thankfully any referral, recommendation, or suggestion you may have on this topic. I live with my boyfriend, and he is middle-aged and has never had a real girlfriend before. He lives in the same apartment he grew up in and is raised up by his mom and never moved out. He's a very caring, wonderful, generous person, but he just doesn't seem comfortable talking about sex and seems shy and introverted on the whole topic. I have more relationship experience than he does, and I don't have any trouble being the giver or receiver or talking about sex. I try to talk about it with him, but it doesn't seem to go anywhere. I don't want to push it. He seems happy to just go along with the basics, but I don't feel like we'll be able to grow this way if we aren't able to talk. I would appreciate any suggestions you might have. Thank you so much. Well, thank you for writing this to me, and judging from the information you have here, I'm guessing that you're a male-female couple. And you know what? The situation you're talking about is a lot less rare than you may think. I have met and worked with lots of couples who are middle-aged and older, where one of them has way more sexual experience. Sometimes the other doesn't have really any relationship or sexual experience. And there are concerns about this. And about this communication. You're absolutely right. It's difficult to grow sexually intimately or in any other way as a relationship if you can't talk about those certain topics. But I will also say that some people are better communicators in some way than in other ways. So for instance, kind of the stereotype is that women can talk and process things. Now some women can and some can't. And the stereotype is that men are just kind of quiet problem solvers who don't really do as well with the talking communication. Some guys are like that, some guys aren't. When we have whatever the genders are, one partner where somebody just is verbally really on the ball with a certain topic and the other person isn't, either because it isn't their skill set or they aren't comfortable with that specific topic or they're more a doer than a talker, whatever the case may be, it can be really difficult and challenging for both parties. And about the worst thing that can happen is when you get stuck in a rut where one person's talking, getting more and more frustrated, and the other person is pulling back from that conversation, getting more and more frustrated that it keeps starting, but that's not really what they want to be talking about or how they want to be talking about it. So I do appreciate that you don't want to be pushy about it, but you don't want to give up either. One of my thoughts is, does he have an environment where there are other guys, perhaps, or people who can talk about sexuality in a non-intimidating way around him where he can kind of begin to talk about these things? That would be one option. Another is for him to be in charge of himself, pursuing some books and some reading material in order for him to get to a place where he has a little more understanding, and then for him to tell you how he'd like to explore it in ways that are not so based around conversation. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. Now, this is all assuming that he wants to grow and change in this particular area and develop. If he's not interested, if he's just kind of a sexually speaking, a meat and potatoes kind of guy where the basics gets the job done and there's no real need to talk about it beyond that, then the two of you have a bigger impasse to work through. At that point, I would suggest the possibility of a trained sex therapist or a really good high-quality sex and relationship coach. Either way, somebody you get good referrals on. And you might even want to consider trying to find a guy or someone that he feels less intimidated about communicating with and can communicate with him in a style that's best for him. So heavy, deep, running circles around processing verbally may not be good for him. You know, maybe there are other ways of communicating, exploring, and learning that are better. You know, if he is not interested in changing things around sexually, you know, the two of you will have to have a deep think about this. I was going to say a deep talk, but maybe not. A deep think about this and what this means for you in the relationship, how you feel about it. It is all right for this to be a deal breaker, and it's also all right for this to not be a deal breaker, and there may be other options. Opening the relationship or focusing on other parts of the relationship, whatever the case may be. But this is a real difficult one, and I want you to know that you're not alone with it. A lot of people feel very intimidated. What I would love for him to see, what I would love to see happen, if this is realistic for the two of you, is for you to just have a very short conversation with a set beginning and end where you say, this is important to me, but I'm not going to push you, but I need you to know how important this is to me, and then lay out how important. Is this a deal breaker? Is this a key to your happiness? Is this kind of somewhere in the middle and not as important? And be realistic about it. And then say, I'm giving it to you to be in charge of this, and if you need help from me, you have to tell me. But I'm going to check in with you at such and such a point in time, and if we're not making progress on it, then the conversation changes. Then it changes to, what do we want to do with this relationship when we both have different goals? So this isn't an ultimatum. This is just saying, right here, I'm going to stop taking responsibility for it, but I'm going to tell you that it's important, and I want you to take responsibility for it in the way that's best for you, and if you need help finding resources, I'll help you. And if this is not something you're interested in, or something that you just choose not to do, then we'll have to talk about what that means for us, and that what it means for us could be lots of different things. So please, I discourage you from making it an ultimatum from the start, even if in your heart you feel like if it has to go that next conversation that breaking up may be on the table. And if it wouldn't be on the table, then you can be honest about that and say it wouldn't be. I hope that this helps for you. I think that you have a wonderful, wonderful partner here, and I hope that the two of you are able to grow in the same fulfilling directions, and that a lot of joy is ahead for you no matter how you find it. I'm Dr. Ruthie. I'll talk to you at the next video.